What's up, YouTube? In today's video, we're going to be talking about the new Fortnite Season 72 Elden Ring collab called Nightreign. Just kidding. Even though I do really enjoy the Elden Ring Battle Royale memes that are going on around this game. Jokes aside, Elden Ring Nightrein is a great game. Really fun, having a great time with it. But it's funny seeing all these Souls fans and games journalists and all these people giving it a 7 out of 10. Seems like 7 out of 10 is the default score for just games that people don't really want to spend too much time playing, which is ridiculous. I think you can put hundreds of hours into this game if you really wanted to, especially with that DLC coming out. But honestly, it's not just games journalists and such, but it's also, it seems like the community. I mean, for the most part, before the update that came out yesterday, the 1.01 update that pretty much made solos a little bit easier with, you know, quicker levels and rune acquisition, as well as free reses if you get knocked. Before that update, it seemed like it was getting mixed reviews on Steam, especially if you filter out those people that just need to, you know, the get good people, you know, that always complain under the comments section of From Software games. But you filter those ones out, and a lot of people were complaining about a few things, and a lot of that I agree with. Seems like the big things that everybody's complaining about are justifiably has to do with the fact that From Software has never made a multiplayer game before. And it's just funny with all the multiplayer games that have come out in the past, just in general, you know, the long history of multiplayer existing in the game space, that From Software seemed to not implement any of that into its new game. I guess in this video, we're going to talk about 4 major points of contention that I believe put this game appropriately at that 7 to 8 out of 10 range. You know, the devs have also come forward and addressed the majority of these complaints, saying that, you know, updates will come to this game, implementing these things in the future, but the fact that they did not exist at launch is kind of upsetting. Number one, and the big one for me, is the fact that there is no duos play mode. There's no duos expedition mode that you can play online with one friend. The only modes available in the game are solos and trios, and you can either party with 2 friends online, or you could party with, you know, or just have a full team of 3. So it could be like 2 randoms, or you can duo queue with a third that's a random, which kind of sucks. And it's very surprising to me that From Software is going this route of either solos or trios. Trios seems like such a weird team comp for a From Software game, especially since duos have existed before in other ways. Like in Elden Ring, you can summon in another player to help you fight another boss, or fight a boss or whatever. You know, same thing in DS3. You were able to summon somebody from the outer world or whatever to come into your game and assist you. So it's weird that they're going the trios route as the, you know, preferred way to play the game, or the preferred experience to experience the game, over duos, since they have somewhat of a history with duos. And not just a history, but it's common knowledge, I believe at this point, with everybody online that plays From Software games, the popularity of the seamless co-op mod. I feel like everybody, including myself, you know, are using that seamless co-op mod in either Elden Ring or, you know, DS3, or I believe it's also in Sekiro, to play with an additional friend, to play with one friend, you know, to go through the campaign or go through the story and the worlds together. You know, everybody has always wanted, it seems like for years, for Elden Ring, or not Elden Ring specifically, but just From Software games in general, to allow this multiplayer element. I mean, you can even see this with that new Lords of the Fallen update. The Lords of the Fallen team and their new, what is it, 2.0 update implemented seamless co-op, or a co-op mechanic in the base game. So I do believe the devs have come out and spoken about the lack of duos capabilities in the game, and they are going to be implementing duos, I think, relatively soon. as an option in the game. I'm sure they're gonna have to mess with scaling and things along those lines, but it seems like they're going to be implementing a duos option for 2-player expeditions before the DLC drops. So that will be an update that comes, hopefully sooner rather than later. And the second big thing that's missing in Nightreign is the lack of voice chat and text chat or text chat. I mean, there's no way to effectively communicate with either your friends in game, without an external app like, party chat or a Discord, yet alone being able to communicate with random teammates who you don't even know what their either gamer tag or, Steam name or whatever is. So there's no way to effectively communicate to your team without either pinging the map or doing emotes if they're even close to your character. I mean, it's wild to me because since the dawn of multiplayer games, I feel like there's always been an option to use voice chat to communicate and or text chat. I mean, back in Halo 2, like this was a problem that was solved day one with like Halo 2 multiplayer. Like you were able to communicate with your team, random people from around the world in the game. So it's weird that we're in 2025. From Software released a brand new multiplayer experience with a ton of hype behind it. Don't get me wrong, it was like 3.5 million copies sold, ton of hype behind this game, and there's no option to have voice chat or text chat to communicate with your team, which is essential in the game to really do anything. I mean, the whole marketing point of this game is that it's multiplayer, and you want to experience it in a multiplayer way, the way that the developers intended you to experience it. But to not have voice or text chat to communicate is wild. And number 3, another multiplayer complaint is the fact that there's no crossplay. Again, it's 2025. From Software is releasing their benchmark, brand new, first ever multiplayer experience, and there is no crossplay allowing you to play as a PC player with an Xbox player or an Xbox player with another PlayStation player. I mean, this is technology that has existed and revolutionized the multiplayer space, and what people have been praying for years, and has actually become something that is relatively common now within the past 10 years. So we've had crossplay functionality in multiplayer games for probably the last decade now, with seemingly no problem whatsoever. And for some reason now we're backtracking. I don't get it. Those are the 3 big, in my opinion, points that are really holding this game back from being one of the better, if not best, multiplayer experiences probably ever. I played a lot of multiplayer games. I'm a big fan of multiplayer games. I have a lot of friends all around the world that I would love to play with, friends from the neighborhood that I grew up in, as well as friends that I've made over the years playing online multiplayer games. And the fact that, we're limited to only trios and solos, no voice or text chat to even meet and play with new players and make friends in the Elden Ring or From Software community as we're playing and exploring these worlds. Like, imagine you're playing the game, you're playing with somebody who's kicking ass, dope, and you can't even communicate with this person and choose to party up with them in the next expedition. And also the amount of people that we're missing out on experiencing this game with no crossplay. Like, I can't play with I mean, who knows? Like, there could be a player out there that's on PlayStation, I play on PC, and maybe they're one of the dopest people, and I don't even get to interact with that person randomly in a game. Is wild. It's unfair. So those are the 3 big multiplayer-esque complaints, and I do hope that those are 3 things that they do change in the future. I know for a fact they're going to be making a duos update and giving players the ability to play duos in the future. I'm not too certain about the voice and text chat or the crossplay, but I mean, realistically, if they want this game to thrive, Those would be really good things to implement in the future, maybe around the DLC time or expansion that they do with this game, maybe around then, hopefully. But the fourth point, which is more of the just general gameplay point, which I think really holds this game back, is the sort of player buffs that you get before going into the expedition. So when you go into the expedition with your base weapon and your character, one of the few characters that you can choose from, it feels these things called the relics, which are sort of these basic power-ups that you get for your character that sort of change different buffs and such that you get going into each match, and you can change them. They're interchangeable before any expedition. These relics to me seem very underwhelming. I feel like I'm not saying that you have to be overpowered going into any expedition, especially when you first get in there, but these relics should really allow you to experiment with different builds going into each expedition. It should sort of be like a gamble every time, like a gamble to get yourself the right equipment that you would want to really hone in and boost these relics to their maximum capabilities of whatever build you're trying to accomplish in a singular run. I just feel like that these are basic buffs that just give you very minimal bonuses going into each expedition and doesn't really give that much variety or options to a build as you're playing through an expedition. Like, imagine something like, a lot of them are like you drink a flask and it heals like some of your allies too, like very basic stuff that just help with general survivability. Maybe you can put on a relic that gives your base weapon a fire damage, adds a fire element to it, like very basic stuff. I wish these relics were something like that would change the summoner, the Revenant character, for example, could change the scaling of the character from having, C level dexterity to an A in dexterity, or an S in strength and lower its faith. Like, things like that would be really cool, where you have a character, you can get very overpowered relics that completely change the way you go into an expedition and what weapons and such you can pick up with your character, making the experience very unique to each individual run and how you would want to play that run. Yes, I understand that there are all these different characters. What are there, like 8 different characters you can choose from, and they all have very different scaling. But, some people like to have a main character, like to play one specific character. And if there was a way that each player could play that character, but differently in each expedition, would be really cool. And I think a big point of that, or the best way to do that, is to allow these relics to really change up the scaling for each character you go in with, to make it really feel like you're not playing the same way over and over again with the same character. But yeah, those are my 4 major points that I believe make this game sit comfortably at a 7 or an 8 out of 10, maybe like 7.5. I'm gonna personally say 8 because I have about 30 hours in the game now. I defeated the first 3, I believe, Night Lords, and I've been having a blast playing with a couple of other friends. I haven't checked out the solo mode yet, especially after today's buff, but even looking at the Steam reviews after this new patch update, the reviews went from mixed to overwhelmingly positive. So I do believe that the developers over at From Software are really taking a close look at what the community is asking for and delivering on as much, if not all, of the complaints that everybody is really speaking out about. And honestly, a big thing I would say is, if you are a From Software fan and have 2 friends who are big From Software fans, Elden Ring fans, etc., I think you should call those guys up, drop $40, because honestly, this game is a steal at $40, especially if you like games like this, because there is hours of content available to you in this game at this $40 price range. Hours, hundreds of hours. So I hope you guys enjoyed the video. I'm going to be posting more Elden Ring content in the future. Drop a like and subscribe if you want to see more builds and sort of how-tos and things that I wish I learned going into this game kind of videos. I should be dropping those kind of videos in the next couple days. Hopefully I can defeat all the Night Lords, you know, with a party relatively soon, and then try to do a solo run of each one as well. I'm also going to be doing breakdowns of each characters and all the characters that I've been playing and their optimal builds. But again, I appreciate y'all for watching. Have a good one. Peace.